Against the Current is sponsored in part by ServPro of Pulaski and Laurel counties. When fire or water damage takes over your life, trust the team in green at ServPro to help you make it like it never even happened. They provide 24/7 service when you need it most. Give the local office a call at 606-877-2160 or online at servpro-pulaski-laurel-counties.com. Franchises are independently owned and operated. So today I'm joined by Mr. Daniel Cheshire, owner of Dairy Queen franchise locations, with two here in Somerset, one in Manchester, one in Russell Springs, and one in Ohio. Dan is also past president of the Chamber of Commerce and also the owner of Somerset's newest storage facility, Secure Storage. Dan and his wife, Marcy, live here in Somerset with their two children, Addie and Carter. And Dan graduated from EKU in 1997.
Correct.
I say that with a little bit of uncertainty. I wanted to make sure there. What was your major at EKU?
I have a degree in marketing and finance from Eastern. So
I'd say that was well thought out going those two routes.
Well, it was. I guess it was. I always say I wish I had served my country. That's one of my greatest regrets, Adam, is not serving my country, National Guard or Army or Marines or something like that for just a brief time. If I had it to do over again, I would probably do that, but I don't know what trajectory my life had taken if I had. So who knows?
Very true. That's very admirable, to say the least. This is normally where I get kind of a 30,000 foot view of when I'm interviewing guests. I give a 30,000 foot view of their business, but there is no secret about Dairy Queen. Even my 2-year-old knows all about Dairy Queen. I will give a quick rundown just on Secure Storage. Secure Storage takes pride in offering simple and hassle-free indoor climate storage, with security being their top priority. They make sure your storage units are clean, secure, and ready to rent. They have a wide variety of storage unit sizes and types to make sure they can handle any self-storage need that you may have. And Security Storage offers online rentals and bill pay 24/7 to make your experience quick and easy. And
yes,
completely hypothetical question here. By the time this episode airs, my wife and I either will have already welcomed our third boy or we'll be days away from that. So
congratulations
here. Thank you. Again, hypothetically, if someone wanted to, say, put a man cave in a storage unit, not to escape his family or anything like that, or a house full of kids, would that be something that would be feasible?
I think that it may be feasible, so long as you didn't. You can certainly do that at Secure Storage. We have bathroom facilities, water fountain, meeting room. There is no shower facilities, though, unfortunately. So that's why you'd be on your own there.
Good thing it was just a hypothetical question. We're just talking.
And I may or may not have one next to mine.
Well, with all that being said, this is kind of where we go to the next stage as far as doing some rapid fire questions to really kind of get your creative juices flowing here a little bit and kind of see where you stand on some very highly debated topics. So first question, pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Okay. And a second part that's highly debated in my house, are you a chocolate chips person or are you a plain Jane type pancakes?
Oh, I'm plain Jane all the way. Extra butter.
That's the only two right answers, so congratulations. The most popular question, you may have seen it, I put on Facebook and Instagram that I was going to be interviewing you and ask for people to submit questions. And so the overwhelming, most common question I got, what is your favorite blizzard?
My favorite blizzard, it's a little, it's a customized blizzard. So we start with a base of Reese cup. We add as much peanut butter as we can fit in and not make it run over. And then we add crushed nuts on top of that. So we get a little extra crunchy peanut butter in there.
Very nice.
So that's my go-to. If you couldn't tell, I'm a peanut butter lover.
What is your favorite non-ice cream item on the menu?
Well, I tell you what, it's really hard for me to walk past the chicken strip bin and not grab one, but my go-to is a double cheeseburger with pickles, mustard, and mayo.
Pickles, mustard, and mayo. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm a big fan of the flamethrower.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Last couple questions here. What's been your favorite either book or podcast that you've listened to recently?
I have done a lot of reading on Jocko Willink. He is a extreme ownership, and I've always loved and again regretted not serving my country and that kind of gives me a little bit of leadership insight. Absolutely. He's got some great stuff out there, and it helps me live vicariously through that experiences of those military personnel. So I just absolutely love that book.
And then following kind of what he does, he will absolutely change your mindset on how you approach a lot of things too.
Oh my gosh. I would say the greatest and I've read just about all his books. He has a latest greatest that just came out. Nice. But I would guess the thing that I learned that was the best from his book was how to lead up the chain of command rather than down the chain of command. I just thought that was very insightful. So, I'd recommend it to anybody who wants to learn a little bit about military or their leadership, or, just how to look at themselves and be a better leader in their family or their business or in their, community organization, whatever it might be.
I'm trying to think of, I read one of his books last year and I actually downloaded it on a Kindle, and I read it probably in 2 or 3 days. It was a fast read, but you consume so much information from it. It's a good read. So I'll put that in the show notes for it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. And I could sit down and read every one of those books again and probably still draw some things. It's like drinking from a fire hose. So
last question, and this is kind of on topic with that too. Sorry. Love to win or hate to lose?
Hate to lose. I think that's a tough one right there. I love to win also. I'm pretty competitive in business and whatnot. Probably more so than I would be at sports.
Sure.
So I think in business, I love to win. In personal aspects, I'd hate to lose.
I like that. I've been very intrigued with that's a question I ask every time, no matter what. And I've just been very intrigued by everybody's answers of why they're one way or the other. And it's really been about a 50-50 split as far as which way people are going. Mm-hmm. Well, Dan, I gave, of course, a high level view of Dairy Queen, didn't really do too much, and a little bit more about secure structure. But for listeners that maybe don't know, can you expand a little bit on the history as far as how your family got involved in the fast food franchise business and kind of lead us up to from how it started to today?
Well, I am blessed with a dad who started in the restaurant business in 1970. He was a paint chemist with Sherwin-Williams in Louisville, and had a degree in chemistry, and was had a good career, path, and he got this opportunity to get in the restaurant business with Burger Queen, which you probably don't remember, Adam, but your dad would, I'm sure, and older people. But we started with Burger Queen in 1970, June 22nd, 1970, which is the opening day of Burger Queen right here on Highway 27. My dad moved his family to Somerset after only having visited it one previous time.
Wow.
He had, my brother. I have an older brother and older sister, and they came down here in their VW 2-door station wagon with all their belongings and moved down here. So it was an adventure for them. But that's how it got started. And then in the early 80s, Burger Queen had such a diverse menu that they determined that they needed a name change because it was hard to market fried chicken, salad bar, battered it fish, and hush puppies under a burger brand. So they changed the name to Druther's Restaurant.
Now, and then about Druther's. I'm old.
Yes.
Druther's.
Yes, absolutely. The salad bar. And then in the early 90s, 1991, Druther's system was bought by Dairy Queen, and we were able to change our restaurants to Dairy Queen. And luckily, a longtime person here in town, Richard Keith, who was the previous owner, he was reaching retirement age and was able to sell his franchise to the corporation, which then refranchised it to us. Nice. And Richard was just He's just a wonderful person all the way around. Great guy, community guy, family guy, and he left us a great reputation for the Dairy Queen to carry on.
And so since then, now too, when have you added the other locations that you have now as well?
Okay, so I graduated from Eastern in '97, moved back, and where Don Moss's Insurance is right now, that was one of our stores. That closed down after we had a fire in 1998, in which we rebuilt our Dairy Queen on Highway 27. At that point, we took all of our staff and moved it to that store, closed the downtown store, and relocated it back to its original location there on Main Street in October of 1998. So that was quite the year for us.
No kidding.
And then, of course, we always had Manchester, Kentucky. And then 5 years ago, this past November, maybe 5 years ago, this past November, we opened Russell Springs Dairy Queen. 1 year ago, this past May, we opened our store in Liberty Township, Ohio. And then hopefully spring next year, we'll open our sixth store in Oxford, Ohio.
Okay.
And also in the meantime, I have a brother who opened a couple of restaurants, Dairy Queen restaurants in Slidell, Louisiana, and in Picayune, Mississippi. So it's a family affair.
Yeah, no kidding. I like that. How many, between all your locations now, how many employees are you guys up to now?
Anywhere from 200 to 300, probably, depending on peak season, off season. And it's been very challenging this past year to retain and procure help. It's been one of our greatest challenges. With that said, I'm still blessed with a tremendous team of people who are ultra loyal and know how to treat people.
Well, that's one of the questions I was going to kind of get to later, and that was another question that was submitted. But as far as those day-to-day operations go, are you very like hands-on in every location, or are you delegating the day-to-day, the hiring? How much of it are you delegating at each location? Obviously,
I delegate a lot of it at each location, and at the same time, still hands-on. That's kind of a fine sword edge that you walk on. But as far as the hiring goes, I still have quite a bit of influence in that, but I do let our general managers do the hiring. But I'm in the stores every day in Somerset and travel to the other stores, weekly, monthly, different things like that. So I'm very hands-on. I am still what you'd call the area supervisor, I suppose. Even though we have one of those that we promoted a few years ago when we opened in Ohio. I do have an area supervisor by the name of Darren Jones that's been with me for the better part of the last 20 years, doing a fantastic job too. So
nice. I guess as you grew in your locations, you especially had to rely on those people and delegate even more. What's been, I guess, maybe your biggest learning process throughout that when it comes to trying to delegate and trying to balance what you let others handle and what you try to be hands off versus what you try to be hands on with?
And that's been tough. When you go from one store to two store to multiple stores, you really have to let go of that hands on stuff in order to, you have to get comfortable with that delegation. So that was very tough because I was very, detail oriented, and
absolutely.
I wanted every cup in the right spot and every napkin in the right spot.
Right.
So that's been tough, but there's always more than one way to skin a cat, and sometimes our management team doesn't do things the way that I would do them.
Right.
They have their own style, sometimes their own technique, and you really have to understand that so long as it looks great in the end and doesn't use any more resources, then you've got to be okay with that. Sometimes it might not be your way, but it might be just as good.
Yeah. Being open to that. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. That's and in order to grow, and grow locations and whatnot, you have to grow your people too. and they need some of that. They need to have some room to move and try things on their own. The same with kids. Whenever we were growing up, whenever you're outside of your parents' wings, you could expand and grow a little bit.
Right.
The same is true with our management team, I believe.
And I think that's important too, allowing them, kind of creating that opportunity that allows them to take ownership of what they do, and knowing that you're going to trust them with decisions they make, because you guys have developed that culture that allows them to have that ability, or have that allowance, I guess you'd say, to create different processes, or work things a little bit differently than you might imagine, but it's a way that it works.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have done that. It's difficult a lot of times to let go of that, but I tell my management team all the time, I want you to make decisions. That's what managers do, is they make decisions. If we didn't have any problems in the restaurant business, we wouldn't need any managers. So, so we have sizable management teams at each of our stores, and I want them to make those decisions. And if they make a wrong decision, then we'll look at it and we'll get better, and we'll learn from it. But I still want you to make the decision. I would rather you make a wrong decision than no decision at all, many, many times.
And probably make a wrong decision rather than call you every single time that decision has to be made.
Yes, absolutely. And they don't, and that happens. Even, we've been in the restaurant business for a long time, and, I make mistakes every day. It's just so long as we try not to repeat those same mistakes, I'm great with it.
I guess when you guys made the switch from Druther's to Dairy Queen, and now kind of obviously you've been with Dairy Queen now for a while, so you've seen the growth it's had and the changes as a company maybe it's made. How, when that change was made from Druther's to Dairy Queen, what was, I guess, maybe that process like, as far as deciding, okay, yeah, like we agree with what Dairy Queen's doing here. We like this model. We want to continue on with them and with that.
Now, when that transition happened, I was a junior in high school.
Right.
So I was working after school and in the summer times.
Sure.
At that point, whenever I didn't have any extracurricular activities or wasn't playing sports, I'd work after school. So I wasn't real involved in that transition. Only with the Dairy Queen being closed for a year, and everybody, the community was just so happy to have a Dairy Queen that was back open. Yeah. And with a drive-through and a bigger area to eat in and things like that. Yeah. So it was interesting to be a part of that, and to be a part of the opening team, the opening crew, and to see the remodel and whatnot. So it was just a great opportunity. And Dairy Queens in most other parts of the country, including Ohio, where we have restaurants, they don't have breakfast up there. And so that's kind of breakfast is more or less a very unique thing for Dairy Queens that are in Kentucky, because Druther's was a regional chain that centered around Kentucky and the surrounding states, and had a very established breakfast business. So we kept the breakfast business, and then added this great treat menu, and kept a lot of the great burgers. The burger platform was very similar, French fries. So those things were kind of similar, onion rings. Dairy Queen has milkshakes. Druther's had great milkshakes. So we added that treat side to breakfast. And that is really one of the reasons why Dairy Queens in Kentucky typically operate on the higher volume scale as far as the Dairy Queen chain goes.
Okay.
So that's good. And we have a great breakfast, still have great breakfast.
Yeah, I miss being next door to there, because it was nothing for me just to walk right over, get a nice plate of biscuits and gravy and hot coffee, and my day was ready to go.
I might deliver that one of these days for you.
I appreciate that. It's funny you mentioned that too. So where I grew up in Union County, which is far western Kentucky, about 4 hours west of here, our Dairy Queen never had breakfast.
Right.
When I first moved to Bowling Green, when I went to Western, I was like just floored. I was like, Dairy Queen has breakfast? Like, since when did that happen? Like, that was a new change for me. Where we had a Druther's, and so where the Druther's was, it sold and eventually it closed down and eventually became a Long John Silver's.
Okay.
Till this day, the Long John Silver's still has the best breakfast in town.
Long John Silver's breakfast, huh?
Yeah.
How about that?
And it's I kind of wonder too if it's a lot more of the Druther's model of breakfast too, because obviously there's no fish for breakfast, but it's your biscuits and gravy, your eggs, your bacon, sausage. It's your traditional home cooked breakfast that's very, very good.
I'll bet it is. I'll bet it's the old Druther's breakfast or a semblance of that. I bet it is.
Talking kind of food and menu here, and every now and then on social media, you'll see a big rave about Starbucks and their secret menu, the secret menu items they have. Does Dairy Queen have a secret menu?
Other than a secret menu. Blizzard. I don't know if that's secret. Now, my dad, he enjoys Reese Cup and banana. So he puts banana in his Reese Cup, which that's an interesting twist on it. Yeah. I guess the secret menu would be whatever we have in our store, we're willing to make for you. So a lot of times, if you can think of the ingredients that we have, we'll make just about whatever you'd like. One of my go-tos, and we don't have the Ultimate Burger anymore, but we had Ultimate Sauce, which is like 1,000 Island. And I used to get our fish sandwich, put cheese on it, and put the Ultimate Sauce or the 1,000 Island dressing on there. Oh yeah. So that was a kind of a secret thing, knowing how to swap those sauces. Now, to your point, you like the flamethrower, and that flamethrower sauce, it's Tabasco mayo. So that's the sauce that we put on that. Yeah. And that is you can get that on the side if you ask for it, and it is great to dip onion rings into. Oh, so that would be. Yes, I mean that is fantastic. So if you're a flamethrower lover, dip your onion rings in some flamethrower sauce, and you'll be very happy about that.
I know what I'm having at some point this weekend, so I made my mind up on that. Kind of switching gears a little bit here too. Do you have? Yeah, I know part of the answer to this, but are you the sole owner in every location, or do you have partners kind of in each? I know you have general managers, but do you have maybe partners in the other locations that you have?
My father and I are partners in the 3 original Dairy Queens, Manchester, 2 in Somerset. Right. My dad is still active and involved. He of course, with the pandemic going on, he's been a little bit more reserved, but he's still out every day. And Russell Springs I own by myself, and then I have a business partner in our 1 soon to be 2 Ohio locations.
Something I hear a lot of questions about and hear a lot of people talk about is you never want to have a partner in business. Family, of course, has its own kind of element too, but it's partners. There's so much opportunity there for something to go bad. How do you go about trying to feel somebody out to say, okay, is this person going to be good to be in business with? Are they going to make a good business partner? Can we make a successful business together? What was that process like for you?
Well, my business partner in Ohio is one of my closest friends from college. Nice. And I know that he has a great work ethic. He spent the last 20 years pretty high up in the Waffle House business. Oh, wow. Okay. So he was an executive with Waffle House and had 30 plus stores under his wing. And in the Waffle House, their people work in the stores. So he would rotate around the stores, 6 days on, 2 days off, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So his work ethic was fantastic. There you go. He was just calling in, but so we stay pretty tight, and going from 30 Waffle Houses that never close to a Dairy Queen that doesn't have breakfast, that was he's almost on vacation.
No kidding.
And then as far as my partnership with my dad goes, there's been some pretty ugly stories about father-son partnerships. Oh. I don't have and my dad and I, we don't see eye to eye on everything. But he has been the best partner. And it has added a whole lot to our relationship. And just the sheer time that we spend together on business, and it's made it fun. It's made it not just work. It's made it fun. So I have great respect for my father, and he is just a source of a lot of wisdom when it comes to business and being in the restaurant business and life in general. So I'm blessed to have had that relationship and that opportunity be in business with my dad.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's a blessing in itself too, because you get to have that much quality time. You get to grow that relationship and build that relationship, and you guys got a good history together with that.
Yes.
You mentioned adding a location in spring of 2021. What goes into that? I guess maybe kind of research as far as figuring out if the location is right for another store, if it's a good fit for a business, if it's kind of all the things you have to look at when you're trying to decide whether or not to open another store.
Well, this next one that we're doing is in Oxford, Ohio. So it's a college town. Miami University is there. There are other competitors there. There's Wendy's, Burger King, KFC, McDonald's, different things like that. So we kind of know what the average volume of those restaurants are.
Nice.
Know that we could compete in that market. And then we just go looking for locations. And in that area, it's very difficult to find a location. The location that we found has a sign that's grandfathered in. It'll be a retrofit, so the building's already there. Cost of entry is diminished because of that.
Sure.
Oxford has a moratorium on drive-through restaurants, but this location is grandfathered because it already has one.
Oh wow!
So I know if somebody wanted to put that to the test, I'm sure that would fail in this pandemic environment. I'm sure that they could do that, but I don't know that anybody has. But so that's really where it is, and it's about 30 minutes from our other location in Liberty Township. So so that made for a good, easy decision.
I've never, I guess, maybe heard that. Why is it that they have a moratorium on drive-through restaurants, do you think?
I think it's a perception issue that they have up there. They viewed all drive-through restaurants as unhealthy food, and they wanted to do their part to make their community healthier. So I think that, I don't share that view, but I think some people up there wanted to switch to less quick service. And, let's face it, if fast food doesn't have a healthy ring to it anymore, so I think that's probably what it was. That's why we say we're fan food. We're not fast food. So
with years of experience as a college student, fast food and Dairy Queen definitely gets a green check mark for me. So.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Switching gears again here, kind of going to the next topic. If you could give advice to somebody that's maybe new in the restaurant, but new in the fast food franchise type business, or maybe is looking to get into that type of business, what would be some advice that you'd want to give to those people?
Getting into the fast food business, well, that's a good question. I know that I would choose a brand that has some longevity. I know that that there's a lot of brands that come to market that are the newest, latest, greatest thing, and we see that a lot of times that come in and they're the buzz for a while and then they fizzle out and go to the wayside. So I would make sure that I chose a brand that had some longevity, that had some staying power. I'd be very well capitalized. And I would also say that I would give them the advice that my dad did. I graduated from college. He said, son, the good news is that in the restaurant business, you only work half days. I said, oh, great, Dad. That's awesome. He said, you just pick what 12 hours you want to work. So there's, when we open restaurants, it's, 3-4 weeks, it's not anything to work, 20 days in a row. And those days being, 9 in the morning to 10, 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. So there's a whole lot of hours that go into a restaurant in the early stages in order to get it to the point where you can, step away from it. So you have to have a strong work ethic and not be afraid to put in the hours. And you also have to have, a family that is behind you and understands that, you're going to be away from home for a bit. And you have to have that support mechanism behind there. If Marcy weren't okay with me, being gone for a week to open a new restaurant, then, I would have to really consider that business deal.
Sure.
I want the blessing of my family also.
Absolutely.
And that's it's a strong commitment. The restaurant business stares at you every day. We're open 7 days a week. In the summer times, we close at midnight and we open at 5:45 in the morning. So there's only about, 3 hours that somebody's not at the restaurant.
Yeah.
So, that can be a bear if you don't have a dedicated team. Because at the end of the day, we're responsible to make the bank payment. We're responsible for the debt.
Right.
And we're, at the end of the day, it all falls on our shoulders. And that's a great responsibility. There's a lot of people that depend on us, for their paychecks every other week. And, we take that very seriously. So.
And my follow-up question was going to be, what speed bumps do you think they need to look out for? But I think you really kind of hit the nail on the head there with picking which 12-hour shift you want to work.
Yeah.
But having that, realizing that, like you said, you may work 20 days straight, and you've got to have that work ethic that's there. You've got to have a strong family back there behind you supporting you too, and being okay with you being gone for that much time in a day and that much time at a time.
Yeah. It won't always be like that. Dairy Queen's a seasonal business in the treat side. So we do, slow down on our treat side in the wintertime, pick up in the summertime. So it's not, it won't always be, just, go. There will be some downtime, but you gotta work to get there.
Exactly. Well, that was kind of what I want to wrap up that part is with obviously every business, anything you do, there's hard times, there's struggle, but then I'm sure there's also a rewarding part of it too. So what's been kind of the most rewarding part for you?
The rewarding part of me is having a successful business and being able to, to give back to, our team members, to give back to our community. That's really probably
that, by the way.
Thank you. Well, that's one of our top priorities. We've been blessed with a lot, and therefore, we try to give a lot back. And that's one of the most important things I think that we do in this community to be successful. We have the support of our community, and it's because we support the community.
Exactly.
I really suck at saying no to fall festivals and sports teams and God's Food Pantry, just various things. We just I'm not very good at saying no, and I feel almost obligated to help out where we're able. So,
and I can kind of attest to that. So one of the several reasons I wanted to have you on the podcast as early as possible was my wife spoke very, very highly of you at Career Day at Oak Hill Elementary. How much everybody, how creative the talking was, and how much she learned, and how much all the kids enjoyed it. So I knew you would knock it out of the park.
Well, I love Career Day. I'm telling you what. If there's any teachers out there listening, I do Hopkins, I do Oak Hill, but I'd be willing to do any of the career days out there. I love engaging with our young people.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One last, I guess, maybe series of questions, then we'll wrap this up here because I want to be a good steward of your time. Does Dairy Queen, and we don't have to keep this on the actual podcast, but does Dairy Queen allow you to own franchises of or own other franchises other than just Dairy Queen?
I'm not sure. I am not sure about that. I haven't been interested in any other franchises.
Sure.
We had a full service restaurant in Richmond for a period of about 5 years. It was independent. But I don't know. I'm not interested in any other QSR, quick service restaurant franchises. I would just prefer, I already know how to run a Dairy Queen. So if I can just duplicate that, then I don't have to learn anything else. And I can live a comfortable life.
Stealing from Stephen Covey's book, keep the main thing the main thing.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And we've diversified somewhat, but in the restaurant business, the main thing for us is Dairy Queen's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and being good stewards of our blessing. So
that's good. Well, Dan, like I said, I want to be respectful of your time, so I'll go ahead and kind of close this up here. If someone is interested in working at any of your locations, what's the best way for them to reach out about applying there?
They can reach out to me directly, danielcheshire@gmail.com. They can talk to any of our general managers, or they can go to Snag a Job. So we have a snag a job. We've been able to get lots of good applicants through that, but we are constantly looking for great people to join our team, management wise, crew wise. We even had a large amount of underage 15-year-olds that worked this summer, and nice. I'm telling you what, they were some of the best employees that we had. Engaged, energetic, friendly. They did a fantastic job. So we like our youth, and we're grateful for our older team that is kind of the glue that holds it all together.
Oh yeah, I like that. Is Secure Storage, is it open for rental?
It is open for rental.
Okay. So if someone is wanting to reach out to you about renting a unit there, what's the best way to do that?
They can call me directly, 606-305-4252, Adam, or if they don't want to do that, they can go to www.securestorage.ky.com, and they can learn all about our facility, and they can rent it online, pay for it online. And if they don't want to, they never have to look at me or meet me. So we can do all of that, anonymous, should they want to.
That's awesome.
So
is there anything else that you'd like our listeners to know, maybe about your business, about Secure Storage, about anything you do involved with the community?
No, we just try to do the best that we can every day, and be good, community stewards. I can't think of anything else, Adam. Thanks for having me on your show. I appreciate it. And who knows where Adam Sheridan is going to be in the next 20 years. This is a great stepping stone. You've got a bright future ahead of you. Even aside from the insurance business. So
hey, I appreciate the kind words, and I appreciate especially you wanting to be willing to come on and share your story and be open about everything, and just appreciate that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. To be continued, Adam.
That's right.
I'll bring you breakfast.
I appreciate it.